So now comes the much awaited hour. We are going to invite Dr. P. Sekhar, who is a respected development thinker and an author of well-documented series of more than 60 plus books on secure techno-economic national growth. These books have looked at different states, what they have and what they need, and different growth-oriented sectors. Now these books, we can use it for all kinds of projects and all. I think your library would be rich once you have these books with you. The path-breaking concept of secured governance developed by him offers a series of recommendations on various aspects of multi-sectoral growth in India to meet the challenges of the 21st century. He talks of extraordinary techno-economic growth with minimum governmental investment. He thinks of smart cities. He thinks of smart educational hubs. What more? Here is a person who is going to talk on nation development, teacher development, and here I present Dr. P. Sekhar, who is also instrumental in our Skill Development Center. I invite you, sir, and I request, sir, to please honor him.
It's nice to be in front of so many academicians, led by a super academicians, and also supported by his generals, Dr. Shirhati, and one-man army chief. You just give her, and I'm sure if you send her to Pakistan border, Pakistan will not be there. But the instruction has to come from Dr. Tibriwala. So from whatever little I told, that your own chairman, Dr. Tibriwala, he has initiated a huge education hub that is called Knowledge City. That may be one of the, I hope I can talk to the audience. Yes. Because it is something which will make a huge change to the country's future on education. Because this will be the first city which will be an education city. Because you find all cities, all people are talking once that smart city is announced, that they will make Amritsar a smart city, they will make all cities are smart cities. Nobody is talking that smart city has to be in a remote area. To that level, I am sure, a few years down the line, people appreciate his efforts. That if you go to Junjunu, which is his own town, it produces 40% of India's richest. But Junjunu itself is a desolate place. It has no water, not much water, and barren land. In that place, to whatever JGT itself is successfully running, huge campus, I visited and I'm really impressed by whatever was seen. So when a city like that comes, there are a lot of imperatives. That means today, whenever any of the people who are all there, everybody will say, oh, my son somewhere is in USA, something in London. When such a city comes, people would proudly say that my son is in Junjunu. People would proudly say that, you know, something good is happening which will be competing to Harvard and Stanford and so on and so forth. Yeah, I'll just finish this video, then I'll come back to you. Yeah.
secured governance, which Dr. P. Sekhar and his team have thought of and have been suggesting to various fora so far, becomes very important an issue, because apart from public and private partnership, this particular concept is unique in that it places tremendous emphasis on a third party to this entire venture, namely the society.
Now I'll go to the presentation. Now, whatever little you may have seen or understood in the video, there's flash of a lot of numbers. It is not to confuse you or frighten you. It is to say that there is a complexity in the growth of India. India has got its own complex problems, which cannot be solved by a wishful thinking, which cannot be solved by a government politician blaming a bureaucrat, bureaucrat blaming a technocrat, technocrat blaming the administrator, administrator blaming the public, and public blaming the politician. Because this is something far above any of these things. We can keep blaming the system, but when there is a problem which is not uncountable by the wherewithal, we have to find an alternative way. The numbers which were reflected in those series of slides were, basically speaking, that we are a large country, we have a large requirements, we are intelligent people, we are not, I would not like to name any country by this thing, we are not one of those who don't expect. That's why in India, whatever little we may blame the media, the smallest thing, even a scratch happening, the media immediately goes bang, 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 bang. Because, we want something which is good, which is something better. Like I told you on day first today, we are good and we want to be very good. In that we try to criticize ourselves, in that some of us may not like, but we have to take it. So for the numbers to come, by no stretch of imagination, by the required today's tax collection, we can ever meet the requirement of the Indians. We came as an independent country with a 350 million people. We were very, very, versatile people in the world. We added 850 million people in the last 67 years or 70 years. So no country has added almost 350% more people in a span of 60 years. So, which is a difficulty or which is an advantage, it depends on the way you plan, the way you see it. A person with multiple people around can make all the people work and give and become better, or he keeps crying about not too many people having to be fed, is something which is what is the planners have to do. In the next slide, what I'm trying to say is that many times we ourselves have not understood India. India is like 206 countries put together. So many times when Prime Minister of India sits in front of a Malaysian Prime Minister or a Mauritius Prime Minister, you feel very strange. We are so many people put together. Not that he should not stand, but at least equality-wise, is not even like a mayor of Mumbai. So we are 206 countries put together. And when we talk of development, there is a paradox. We are told land nahi hai, pani nahi hai, ye nahi hai, wo nahi hai. If you see, we are only using 0.4% of India's land. That means 99.6% of the land is still available for improvement. When we say that we want smart cities, we want this, immediately we go and found and say that will it be in Bombay, will it be in, that's where I appreciate, he could have made the same knowledge city in Bombay. He is making in Junjunu. Because that is where land is available. Land is there for people to take. So this particular land, which is 99.6%, which is available in rural areas, if you see a map of Bombay in India, even in Maharashtra, map of Bombay will not be seen, it is not even a dot. There still, if you want to grow, there's always a problem. The growth has to come in a remote area. And the other thing, people will say water is not available. Except in Rajasthan, Junjunu type of area, water is a problem. It has to be taken from a far off distance. But most of the places, water is available. And as you can see from the figures, even if for all our practical use, we use potable water, still water, 20 times more water is available from normal ground resources. Others are all. Now let us analyze India from a, age and the people parameter. You see some of the facts which are there at the bottom. Total number between 0 to 19 is 463 million. Total number of female population, of course, female, male we can combine together, we have no difference between the two. Almost 640 million is the people who are employable people, people who can really contribute to national growth. And people between 20 to 29 I have separated because in our secure governance we are also talking of skill set, we are also talking of getting specialized people to be sent abroad. They can bring huge revenues back. Next 1 or 2 slides I have spent on, Indians abroad and all for a tactical reasons, even though, next one, next. Yeah. Do you know that India has got people abroad and they bring each year $70 billion, which is quite a big sum. So one of the aspects of secure governance, we are saying that why don't you have a planned exit of people who would go and be of service to the whole world, at the same time bring more revenues back to the country. Because on any account, the growth of India, which is around 22 million per annum, cannot be stopped. So if this 3 million can bring back revenues for the 20 million which anyway is going to be born or which will be in existence every year after year. So the numbers are telling, and even though more Chinese people are abroad, the Chinese people don't remit back to the country as much as Indians. Almost 3 times India's population is Chinese abroad, but Indians bring 70 billion, whereas Chinese bring 64 billion. So with that type of fund coming in, where is the responsibility of the educationist? To give the type of people which the world requires. Today what happens, everybody going abroad just struggles to go abroad, whereas the world is looking for Indians to come. Like I told even day first today, we may criticize Indian education system, but today the topmost of the US companies have got Indians heading it. Even a lady from India is heading Pepsi, one of the top 10 companies in the world. And Microsoft, again, headed by an Indian. And all others in the top 5, at least 3 are Indians. And they are all educated in India. The second generation of people who are born and brought up in USA have not started heading companies. Today, all the people who are heading, they are educated, they are, maneuvered, they are whatever, done by an Indian system. So, by that, of course, we need not be complacent that we are doing the best. We need to do far better. But we are already doing something which is very good. So, in this particular slide, why I am starting this is, we should concentrate for Indians who are going to be abroad. Automatically, our system will become good, because it will be a habit for us to make something good. So, make a plan. As educationists from an Indian point of view, I am talking 3 million. So, from every education institution point of view, I will say at least 5% I will plan right from the day one. Somebody may go to Cambodia, somebody may go to USA, or the next generation, maybe like Obama and the next president of USA may come from India. So, but they have to have that wherewithal, they have to have the training, they have to have this thing. That's where hats off to again your group, which is doing so much of skill development, so much of initiative. Almost 5 lakh people new skills is being the highest, because we are also partners to NSDC. Whatever application has gone from SRSS is the highest single application of 5 lakh people whom intend to get trained through this system. Next. Now, while doing all this thing, we have to analyze our strengths and weaknesses. So, I presume that people should not be worried again about numbers which I am projecting, because the numbers are important for the conclusions which we will be drawing. Like I told day first today, that from the existing system, how the money can come. Because in most of the other sectors where you saw tourism, it will be funded by itself. Electricity, you do, at least I can charge. Whereas education cannot be funded, health also cannot be funded. It has to be given. This is more of an academic interest, that that means we are following everything within the rule book. Whatever Mr. Gopalswamy said, that we are not changing any rules. We are not trying to say bring some new rules, new regulations, new laws and all. In fact, secure governance was the only place where we said no land should be taken from a place. You go to a place where there is nobody objecting, or a place where land is available. Still it can work, because we are going to make the whole city. When you have to make, even if you see our old history, you know, when even Pandavas were driven away, they went to a place where nobody was wanting to go. In fact, it was a place when people said it is, you know, so bad that no human being will go, whereas they made the city, all of us know, and it was one of the most prosperous city. It is just a question of will and the skill which makes the cities, not the, you know, way it is perceived today. So what the government has to do, what the developer has to do, a typical education hub will have everything around it, so that valuation benefit will come. And then, of course, we are projecting something like 10, you know, hubs, like whatever is being planned in, you know, because we are falling from a all India angle, and a number of nano hubs, mini educational hubs, and so on and so forth. Let us go to the last number, 1.4 million nano hubs. I'll come to explain how the money can come for the remaining 300 million people whom we said has to be trained. Next. Again, these are all, I'll come to some numbers again to tell where does that money come from. Next. Whatever I said is being written there. Again, we want education with, I'm rushing because maybe I should finish it in 5 minutes' time. Yeah. Yeah. Now, where we are trying to say that money comes from within the system, even for the remaining 300 million. Education hubs and all will be for higher level of people to be trained for abroad and trained for so many things. But what about the bottom line? If you don't take care of them, we are not doing any justice. But there is no money. I have to feed a baby, I have no money, and still I have to feed a baby. Means I have to find some way in which we have to do. We find from our calculation that there are 1.23 million schools of government. And there are others, primary, non-government also is listed. Most of them we find have spent around 30 crores, 30 lakhs when they were constructed, 25 to 30 years back. And almost by rule, we can have 4 FSI, whereas most of them are using only 0.5 FSI. That means as per calculation, they can almost make 4 times their present area infrastructure without trying to change any rules. In fact, more than 4 times. So the value we find is almost 3,69,000 crores as the total value of the 1.23 million. So because they were all created almost 30-40 years back, today's value of any of these properties are almost 10 times. So if you take that, the 3,69,000 automatically will become 3 million crores, 3.69 million crores. And with this, 4 FSI, many times people say that where do you have the money to calculate? Where do you have money to invest? Because each and every building to be made 4 times means there will at least be another 80,000-90,000 crores to be put, which is not there again in the system. Just like Bombay redevelopment, we are saying that every school should be going to a redevelopment person, in which the redevelopment person should be given a choice to do 1/3 as a commercial. Because we know that even now, as per rule, we can allow certain percentage for commercial. Only that commercial portion should be slightly, having a separate entrance and all, so that children are not taken aback. And also today there's a limit of 30 meters for a school premises. So things stick within the rule book. Then we find that you get almost 33 lakh crores, which is 2 times India's budget, coming out only by a small redevelopment. and something which is there within today's purview, and which can totally take care of the remaining 300 million students which have to be educated, whether we like it or no, in the next 10 years. That is something which I thought I should tell an enlightened audience like you all, that within the system itself it comes, but here, as I said, I am working with government, and I am sure I will be able to convince them to do something like this, and with enlightened persons like your own group chairman and others, we would fight it out to see that things are, something good comes to the future generation. That's all. Again, all these things are, from the point of view that whatever we are talking are within the framework, whatever we are talking are, something which is doable, nothing is just an imagination. So by this, everybody benefits, student benefit, corporate benefit, there will be huge business for corporates, and benefit of education is absolutely something with, then the money will be there in the system, so that there is no need to look outside for money. I am putting Junjunu first, but there are so many other places where. No, it is something which will be prestigious for, I am sure 10 years later, he will be given the Padma Bhushan for initiating this. Because it is a unique effort, I don't think anybody is talking in that terms. I myself am helping another 10 institutions, but nobody is talking of this magnitude and in that type of remote area. Another people are talking in Panvel, people are talking in Pondicherry, people are talking in this thing, and much smaller. So all of you should see in whatever way, this initiative has to be helped, and we should all help, and I offer myself for the same. For whatever we are saying, we have got quite a, including Indian Bank Association President. The other thing why I put the other slide of L&T CEO. L&T are the people who have to invest. Somebody has to invest the money. We can do all sorts of academic talk. When something is required on the ground, it is somebody else who has to sign the check. So even people like them, they all assured full support. Here is somebody from USA. He is called a smart city man of USA. He flew down. He is twice mayor of Hollywood. He flew down from USA to meet me and understand, and then took me to USA to meet senators there. And they all said, yes, this is something which is good and it will be useful for US itself. That is Jimmy Delshep. So there is enough support across the bureaucracy, across the companies and associations, so on and so forth. And I am sure we will be seeing more of this as days to come. Thank you so much.